Tell me what the hell are you scared of when in the end the only thing
Where's
that's
the love?
saying
Right here on
love's
this
in the
podcast.
name.
Welcome to Love
Welcome to
Drops,
Love Drops,
where your
where
hosts and One Love ambassadors, Charles and Diane, will share love, hope, and inspirational topics taken from their journey and world events. We will also include on location recordings and special pop up guests from cool places all around the world. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
whether big or small, love never fails. Oh, love it conquers all. Love never fails.
Welcome to another episode of Love Drop Podcast. And I am here excited to introduce to our listening audience Jaresha Moore. And she will tell you more about who she is and what she's about. So, Jaresha, welcome to the Love Drop Podcast. And I do see Smith on your name here on the screen. So, we're going to say Jaresha Moore Smith. And welcome to the show. And the mic is yours, Jaresha.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me just say first that I'm super excited to be on your show. Wow. I'm really, really excited to share more about my journey and really share about who I am and some of the things I'm really passionate about. So, who is Jaresha Moore Smith? Well, I'll tell you, I am a mother, a wife, a woman of God that truly believes in empowering others for growth and for success. And so, with what that means is I am a CEO of a few different businesses. One, a coaching business called Empower on Purpose, and then also a owner of a international radio broadcasting station and podcast network that is called Envisioned Broadcasting. And what can I say? I'm so on fire and so passionate about really helping other people. And when I say helping other people, I'm talking about empowering other people. And going back to what I said for growth and success, I believe we all are created for greatness. And so I have been able to utilize my platform, Envision Broadcasting, to really empower other people to, launch their own radio show, to launch their own podcast, and then also my coaching business to really be able to pour into people, to add value to people, all over the world. I am originally from Dayton, Ohio, and now I live in Northern Kentucky, which is not too far from Ohio. My office is actually in Cincinnati, Ohio. And like I said, everything that I do, it is aligned with really empowering people, because I recognized a long time ago what my purpose was. And, through my struggles, through things that I've, been through over the years, those challenges, those difficulties. And so I'm really, really, excited and on fire for this journey of empowerment. One of the things too that I didn't mention is I do have a radio show and podcast. Actually have a few different radio shows and podcasts. One called Empower Hour with Jaresha, and that's where I interview leaders, motivators, and influencers. And then also Mornings with Jaresha. And so it's really all about, waking and praying and slaying and really helping people take action every single day. And so that's where I share inspirational things and really just those tips and tools to help empower others. And then also I am a co-host on Mom Boss Talk Radio. And so again, like I said, everything that I'm attached to, you'll find and I'm aligned with is all about really empowering others. But thank you so much for having me on your show.
Wow, that was a lot and it was awesome. And I learned some things about you from your introduction, things that already spoke to me from our first conversation. And that is just your passion, right? To empower, your passion to just activate within others that sense of power, like you got this, you go, you can do this, right? And so even from our first conversation, I was inspired to just work alongside you. I was inspired. I was like, we're going to build something together. And I think it goes beyond the point that you're from Ohio and I'm from Michigan, right? And we're like next door neighbors and geographic. And that's from Michigan for me because we're all over the world. I'm right now recording this from Charleston, South Carolina. So I mean, it's like where in the world is Diane and Charles? That could probably be a show. But yeah, I am just so excited to dive in with you about your journey, with starting. There's so many places we can go with you. So maybe we need to do other shows. But for this particular episode, we're going to talk about the empowered Envision broadcasting radio, network. So I want to, just talk with you about your journey. What inspired you to start that and just speak with our listeners about that journey.
Absolutely. So wow, wow, wow. So I'll tell you, it was one of those things. And for me, how we might say casual, like, oh, I would love to have my own podcast or I would love to have my own show one day. And so I can remember myself saying that years ago. I mean, we've all watched like Oprah on TV and, how amazing she was and still is to this day. And so it was one of those things that I was like, it would be so great to, have my own show. And of course, when the podcast, kind of started really growing and all of that. And so it was truly an interesting, journey because I don't have media experience. And so for me to have that thought, years ago, and it was one of those things I kind of just brushed it off. Like, oh, how we say casually, I would love to have this, or I would love to do this. And then I kind of brushed it off casually until the opportunity presented itself. And so when it presented itself, it was from me being connected to the Maxwell leadership team. And so I didn't mention that, early on, but I am a certified Maxwell leadership coach as well. And so being connected to a team of just, of thousands of people who believe in adding value and really empowering others. And so a lot of times when we're connected to people, we may have those opportunities that come, that come our way. And I really feel like that God brings our way. And so it was one of those things that it presented itself, the opportunity presented itself. And I was like, you know what, I would love to learn more about what it looks like to, walk into the podcast world, to start this journey. And so, the thing about it too is I can remember not just saying years ago that I would love to have my own show, but I was really praying and really asking God, like, how can I really empower others? And I want to not just empower others, and locally, but I want it to be on a much bigger scale as well. And so again, that door opened up and I had a conversation on what that potentially looked like. And when I tell you, at first I was hesitant because again, when you don't have that experience, you are not so quick to say, sign me up, teach me the industry, show me all the ropes, show me everything there is to know. I was very much like doubtful and, discouraged at first. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this stop me because this is something that I said years ago. This is something that I actually prayed about years ago. And so I'm going to jump and build my wings on the way down. And so I had the conversation, jumped into, then it was actually, so Envision was a part of another, platform. And so, I jumped in with the idea that I was going to learn what I needed to learn, and then I was going to trust God through the process. And so that's what I did. To me, that is what we do when we jump and build our wings on the way down, knowing that there was going to be challenges, knowing that there was going to be a huge learning curve because I didn't go to school for, media. I went to school for business, and I'm not saying that it intertwines because it definitely did. but I did not go to school for media. And so I had to get over that learning curve. I will tell you, I had some great media mentors and coaches that taught me the industry. And of course, they couldn't teach me everything there was to know. And to be honest with you, I'm still learning today. But I jumped in, I launched my show, the Empower Hour with Jaresha. And then that kind of kicked kind of started the process and really how Envision Broadcasting was birthed. And so it
Wow.
was birthed underneath another platform. And then, I made the decision a year later to jump into it myself and launch my own network. And that's what I did.
Wow. Woo. That was a lot, Jerisa. That was a lot. And, here's the thing. As I was listening to you speak, I could feel the passion. I could feel the purpose that was wrapped into it. I could feel how you took the leap, right? You took the leap. You took the leap of faith and you went in and you did it uncomfortable. I don't know about that do it scared, and people, that's another thing, right? But you did it uncomfortable and you did it in faith. Those wings would come. So when you jumped, you didn't jump thinking, okay, I may crash or I may get wings. You jumped saying the wings will come, even though you didn't know how far down you would go before those wings appeared and you would just take flight, right? But you did it. And it just inspired me because that's the same thing we did when we launched this podcast. I knew nothing about podcasting. I was a critical care nurse, right? So that's what I went to school for. And yeah, I'm a people person, very relational, can talk to anybody. My gift of gab, I guess, has made room for me, my heart to serve, right? My faith to know that all things are possible. And I'd rather try a million things, right? And even if I fall, I'm going to get up 1,000,001 times, but I am going to hit my mark. And I think that the message here is the fact that you did it without that background. That's speaking to someone right now, here today. That's speaking to someone to let them know that you don't have to have that media background to get started. But then you jump in and you also speak on the flip side and say, hey, but I had some awesome media coaches, right? So you went into it knowing that you wanted greatness from it. So in order to get great, you have to be great. And in order to be great, you have to advocate for yourself and what you are doing. And just because you don't know, don't mean that you can't know. So that is just such an inspiring story. So thank you for sharing that. So, just talk about some of your great moments. Talk about how taking that leap, right, led you into some great, victories. Let's hear about it.
Yes, 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 yes. I am a firm believer, like I said, that in order for us to really step into our greatness, we have to be willing. And actually, I say this on my show each and every week. I feel like that we can be, do, and have what we want in our life, but in order for us to unleash that greatness, we have to be willing, to one, say, I'm going to unleash the greatness, and then also take action. And so along this journey, we know that with life comes, those disappointments, those failures, but also those successes. And so I can tell you that from me saying yes to that opportunity, and yes, there were those moments where I said, even up to the day when I was gonna, move forward, I had those doubts creeping in, and I was fighting off those doubts because I'm like, I'm gonna push forward. And so once I said yes, I had a moment where I woke up and I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? But even through that, there have been so many great opportunities to interview some amazing people within, on my show. Now the platform just continues to grow. And I always say that I give God the glory, the honor, and the praise, because I feel like when you are called to do something that is, just called to do greatness and really push the kingdom, then God is going to open up those doors. He is going to bring people your way. The platform continues to grow. I've had so many opportunities, one to be able to coach and mentor people. We refer to anyone that comes on with that's a part of the Envisioned broadcasting family as show owners, and we look to them as family. So I've had a great opportunity to be able to not just help those that are wanting to launch their own show, but also empower them, coach them, let them know that you can do it. I did, and it wasn't just me saying, you can do it, but I actually am a living witness. I have my own story about how I overcame all these doubts and limiting beliefs and pushed through. And so not only has the show, given me the opportunity, and actually the platform opened the doors for so many people to be able to share their stories, share their journeys all over the world. We're in over 170 countries. We're on all of the podcast platforms. And so it has opened so many doors for, everyone, all of the hosts that's a part of it. It's opened doors for myself, from speaking engagements, from coaching clients, there's so many opportunities that has been brought my way. And I know that it's all from me saying yes, saying yes and being willing to know that at times, God will open those doors for us, but we have to be willing to walk through it with faith. And so that's exactly what I did. I said, I'm going to walk through with faith. I don't care what anyone else has to say, because, we always have those naysayers, and we have people saying, what are you doing? Why are you doing? How are you doing? And we have to overlook that. We have to keep pushing forward.
Yeah. I mean, you said something there. You said a mouthful, and that is, you had to make the choice to walk through the door. You had to turn off the naysayers. You had to believe that what God was calling you to do, he would equip you to do even beyond your understanding, even beyond your rational mind. You had to believe that God got me. You had to believe that God is with me, and I will not fail. I will not fail. I will learn, but I will not fail in this that I am doing, right? And so for that, doors were open. And in those doors that were open, who, if you can name one, two, or just a situation that hit you and you knew, like, wow, this is really happening. Like, was it an interview? Was it a moment? Was it an event? What was that thing that just happened and you were like, wow, this is really happening. This is really happening.
Wow. So I can tell you there were probably several of those moments where it's just like, I feel like that wow factor is something that just continues to happen because, I am very much spiritual. And so I just believe that each and every day, whether it's, someone that reaches out to be interviewed on my show, someone that reaches out that says, I would love to know more about the opportunity to launch my show, to launch a podcast. I feel like all of those moments are those like wow moments, because I'll tell you, from day one, when Envision Broadcasting really was birthed, we haven't done a lot of promoting. So we haven't did all this advertising that a lot of people, a lot of companies do. And so it's always been through referrals. And I feel like God just knows, who to bring our way. He knows who to bring our way. And so I think those are those moments where I'm like, wow. Just wow, when I have conversations with those that are interested in being a part of the platform, and to hear them say, well, this person actually told me about the opportunity, or, I learned about it from being on, I guess, on someone's show or something of that nature. Those are those wow moments for me when I'm like, wow, or to hear someone just share how thankful they are to be a part of Envision Broadcasting, and how it has really impacted their life, impacted their business. Those are those moments for me when I'm like, wow, because I think back to when I was debating whether or not to even move forward. I think back to those moments when I was questioning, the door that God had opened. And so for me, I was, so those are the moments when I think back to it and say, wow, look where God has brought us. And I am just having faith that He's going to continue to take us and, continue to, allow us to grow.
Wow. I mean, I had to come off of mute and say some wows. I had to tell you, come on, because two things. First and foremost, it's bigger than you, and you acknowledge that. It is bigger than you. You acknowledge that. Second, you will know by the fruit, right? And so when you are not out there just, oh, come over here, look, I'm doing this and chasing. When you stop chasing, and this is a message that has come to me recently, right? When you stop chasing and start attracting, then you get the things that God has for you, and only you, only you. So it's like you don't even have to worry about it, because there is no blockers. You can't block it. You can't block it. It's mine. It is just for me, my DNA, my unique imprint. It's for me. So even if you got it, it wouldn't even work for you, because it's for me. So just to see how you are just promoting others, how you are building off just the success of passing it on, the success of passing it on. And you get to be a part of this amazing, just experience this amazing thing that God is doing, right? Because what if you would have said no? Then you would have watched it from the sidelines. But because you said yes, it allows you to say yes again and again and again. Because you are allowing referrals to come, it allows the people and businesses that come to your platform to be in alignment, because you're attracting. So it is just, that is just amazing. That is just so amazing how your story is growing. I feel, just listening to you today, that the best is yet to come. The best is definitely yet to come. And I'm excited to announce in this little space right here, while we're talking growing seed and fruit, that the Love Drop podcast will partner and be on the Envisioned broadcast platform in 2024. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to build these global bridges and to just attract together the huge things, because we can make a ripple, but the more that we just come together, man, we can make a wave. So I'm looking forward to that. So what words of inspiration or encouragement do you have for our listeners today, or just someone that is at that door, at that scary point, right?
Yes, yes. So, my goodness, I feel like there are times when we are all at that point of our lives where we have those opportunities, we have those things that we're questioning, we're trying to figure out which way to go. And if I could just really encourage someone, I know I didn't really get to share much of, my story, my personal story, but I was a single mom when all of this happened. I was a single mom raising 4 children, and I did not let that stop me from, wanting to do more. I recognized a long time ago that there was greatness that was within me. And because of that, I had to move accordingly because of whose I am. And so if I can just encourage anyone out there, maybe it's not a radio, show that you're, that maybe that's not the opportunity before you. Maybe it's a book, or, maybe it's a job, maybe it's whatever it may be, stepping into entrepreneurship, whatever it may be. I'm a firm believer that, when you recognize that you are created for greatness, and you recognize what your purpose is, that you just have to be willing to have faith. And that faith thing, when I tell you that I have had so many seasons where I've had to really walk in faith, and it's not something that, just happens where, we have those opportunities, we have those doors that open, and then the doors, we walk through. Because once we walk through, guess what? There's going to be another door that we're going to have to walk through. There's doors that keep opening up, but we have to have the faith and understand that it's not going to be easy. This journey has not been easy. There have been, mistakes. There have been many challenges with trying to, launch a platform, and whatever it may be, again, whether it's a book, whether it's a business, whatever it may be for you, there's going to be challenges along the way. But I want to encourage you right now that I was a single mom of 4, and I didn't let that stop me. And, I could talk about all the financial struggles, all the, the struggles I went through from being divorced and everything else, but I did not let that stop me. I let it build me. I let it strengthen me. And so if I could just tell you right now, whatever that is, because I feel like we pray, but yet we don't take the action that we need to take. Maybe this is the message that you need to hear today that's going to push you into action, that's going to help you believe in yourself so that you can share your message, so that you can understand that it's bigger than you. I understood that when I was contemplating whether or not to launch my show, launch a platform. I understood that along my journey that it was so much bigger than me. I understood that it was bigger than me. It was about unlocking, that greatness that is within me. And, in the media industry, I knew that sharing my story, creating a platform that was going to help other people share their story, was going to unlock a lot of things for other people. Maybe it would unlock their greatness. Maybe it would unlock someone feeling like they've been in prison to pain, to be in prison, to disappointment, whatever it may be. But I knew that I was going to be obedient to what I felt like God had told me to do. And that was be willing to walk through the door and have faith. I hope that what I have shared with you today will truly empower you. It will inspire you. It will really help push you into action to know that if I can do it, you can do it. And this was just a little small piece of my story, a small piece of my testimony, a small piece of my journey, that if I can do it, you can do it.
Wow. While you were talking, it's so funny because I began to think about the actual process of walking, right? So when you walk, you don't take one step and then bam, you're at the destination. You have to take one step, followed by the next step, followed by the next step. And sometimes those steps are going to take you over smooth terrain. Sometimes it's going to take you over some rocky terrain. Sometimes you're going to have hills and valleys, right? But you keep walking. You keep walking. So that's the same thing. You keep going through those doors. You don't go through one door and then just stop. No, you keep going and you build on that faith. Like you said, you had challenges, but you let them make you stronger. You use them as stepping stones and not stumbling blocks. Stepping stones and not stumbling blocks. And I'm telling you, I'm discovering from you through your story and just even more inspired, right? Wow. Just wow. Action. Take the action. Take action. Take action. Take action. So, with that said, we always ask Jaresha, how can our listeners, A, get in contact with you, and B, support what you are doing?
Absolutely. So the best way to get in contact with me is through my website or email. So www.empoweronpurpose.com or www.envisionedbroadcasting.com. And then you can always send me an email as well, Jaresha@empoweronpurpose.com. And then I'm all over social media as well. So all of the social media platforms. Would definitely love to connect with everyone that way as well.
Awesome. I want to just thank you for your time. Thank you for your yes. Thank you for your share. Thank you for the inspiration that you dropped here right on the love drops. Appreciate that so very much. When I say that I am so excited to just partner, to elevate, to be a part, to be an owner, right? On the Envision broadcasting platform. Yes. I am excited about that because I know that together we will build, we will soar, and we will make waves. Yes, ma'am. We will make waves for sure. And so, with that said, thank you, listeners, for joining us. And until next time, we say one love.
No, never a second will I waste, never an opportunity to taste the sweetness of this life.
Thank you for tuning in to the Love Drops podcast. Be sure to follow this podcast and share the love with everyone you know. Until next time, this is Charles and Diane signing off. One love.
Love it conquers all, whether big or small. Love never fails. Oh, love it conquers all. Love never